Hello and welcome to the Car Care Now channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about some things that I see that Toyota hybrid drivers do that you should never do. We're going to go over everything in detail, but before we get started, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your bell notifications so you wouldn't miss out any new videos. And without further ado, let's get right to it. The first thing we're going to talk about is you should never overinflate your tire pressures to get better gas mileage. I see people do this all the time. I see people come in with 60, 70, 80, even 100 psi in their tire pressure. People, I love you. This is why I say this. This is flat dangerous. You know, the 2, 3, 4, even 10 miles per gallon you're gonna get from overinflating your tires is not worth it. You're gonna, first, let's leave the dangerous part last. First, you're gonna have a very hard ride. You know, some of the hybrid cars, they're really comfortable, nice cars. You know, Avalon hybrid, Camry hybrid, RAV4, even the Prius, that is the smallest one, even the Prius C, they're all nice riding cars. But when you overinflate the tires, now the ride is jarring, it's horrible, it's noisy. So that's the first downside. The other thing is you're gonna wear out your tires very quick, especially in the middle. I mean, the savings from the gas, the more gas mileage you're gonna get, are not gonna justify the premature wear on your tires. And the most important thing, people, danger. Most passenger tires, the maximum pressure, some of them is as low as 41 psi, some of them are 51, 55, but not really more than that. This is the maximum tire inflation. And yes, I will tell you, if you inflate your tires like that, you will get better gas mileage because the rolling resistance becomes less. But it's dangerous, it's not worth it. Most hybrid cars get awesome gas mileage to begin with. Don't push it to the limit, it's flat dangerous. On to the second thing, never cover the high voltage battery fan vent. It's usually located either in the back, near the back seat, underneath it. Every hybrid model will be different. If you're interested where your car's fan vent is, you're welcome to leave a comment, or you can email me at thecarcarenaut@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to help you with that. The number one cause of high voltage battery failure is related to overheating because either the fan is clogged because of a dirty filter or the vent is flat covered. I see this all the time. Seat covers, baby toys, items in the car like the Highlanders, they have them a little bit low underneath the seat. I see people put double floor mats and now they're all covered. This is an expressway to very expensive high voltage battery failure. It's very simple. I repeat this in every single one of my videos. You do not know the high rate that I see this at. I mean, almost every other high voltage battery failure is because of a fan related issue. This is very, very, very important. I cannot emphasize how important this is. The only other high voltage battery failures that I see is cars that have 3, 4, 500,000 miles or very old cars, maybe the first, maybe some of the early second gen Priuses. Otherwise, it's always fan related. People, please make sure you always leave that vent clear. You always check that filter, clean it. If you want to know more about that filter, check out part 1 of how to maintain your video. I did talk about that filter and I showed it to you. So there is that. Never cover that fan. Moving on to the third thing, never speed excessively in your hybrid car. You know, most people don't know this, some people will debate this, and that's okay. I'm coming here from a slight scientific view here. Did you know that your hybrid system becomes extremely inefficient when you go very high speeds? I'm talking 90, 100, 110. But yeah, the speed limit in the United States, I think the max is 80 miles an hour in Texas, but some people still do that. You know, we all speed every once in a while. It's no secret. But every once in a while I'm driving on the highway and here comes a Prius or a Camry hybrid, just whiffs by me, probably doing 100 and 110. Don't do that. You overstress the high voltage battery system. Now you have your hybrid motors sucking down your high voltage battery because they're trying to push you at that speed, and your engine at max RPM trying to push you. And now who's going to charge that high voltage battery? It just keeps depleting, depleting, depleting. Reaches a point actually, and this was a warning from Toyota along when the hybrids first came out. If you reach a point where you deplete your battery completely down, the car will actually go into a, they don't call it limp home mode, but it's actually similar to a limp home mode, where it'll lower your performance levels, and now everything is at critical level because it's gonna either kill the high voltage battery charge or it's gonna limit your performance. So of course it's gonna limit your performance, not gonna let you kill your battery. So people, not worth it. Stick to the speed limits. I always say this for safety, even if you don't drive a hybrid car, but especially in hybrid cars. Hybrid cars are most efficient in city driving, stop go traffic. They're great on the highway at normal speeds. You start going 90, 100 and above, you're hurting your car flat out. Please don't do that. Moving on to the next item. Now, I'll admit this item is not as common, but I will include it because I've seen it enough where it has become an issue. Never leave your hybrid car in neutral for a very long time. Reason being is, even if your engine is running, because of the design of the high voltage system, and I'm not going to go into how everything works, I'm going to keep it simple. When you leave it in neutral, it has no ability to charge the high voltage battery anymore. Because of the way the transmission is geared and how the hybrid motors are aligned, it needs that park to do that when you're stopped. So when you leave it in neutral, it can no longer do that. And you're going to deplete your high voltage battery. Your high voltage battery, when it depletes completely, where the computer knows that this is critical, it's just going to shut down everything. Night, we're done. Tow to the dealership. And if you really push a high voltage battery down to its critical levels below what the computer thinks is the lowest safe, it is a very big problem, because then the car becomes a very large and heavy paperweight, because the computer will no longer allow a start, and then we can't really start it at the dealership. We have to charge the high voltage battery manually, which is a very difficult process, and it's very flat dangerous, and it's gonna be expensive. You guessed it. So it's not worth it. I don't see any reason why anybody would leave their car in neutral for a long time, but I have seen this. And actually, some of the hybrid cars, when you leave it in neutral for some time, is gonna display a message telling you, put the car in park, the high voltage system will shut off. So there you go. Try not to leave it in neutral, because it cannot do what it needs to do when the car is stopped. Another issue that I see in the winter time, I'm from Chicago. We get pretty cold winters. Maybe that doesn't apply to you if you live in the southern state where winters are not as cold as here. But I see this all the time. Hybrid drivers, they put a cardboard in front of their radiator because they read somewhere that hybrids are most efficient when they're warmed up, until the engine will not shut off until the car warms up. So now let's put this thing in front of the radiator and we'll warm up the car faster in the winter so we can go into efficient mode. Don't do that. Let the car do its thing, because you do not want to push that engine to a rapid heat cycle. Remember, you have the high voltage system radiator, you have the regular engine radiator. You gotta let enough cooling to pass on those radiators. That's how the car was designed. When the temperature is cold, it's gonna take longer. It's not worth putting something and overheating the high voltage system. Again, I've seen this, and believe it or not, in 2016, when the new generation Prius came out, it has just that. It has automatic shutters that open and close to maximize efficiency. But the computer is watching everything. It knows when to open it, when to close it. Computer can't remove the cardboard. Don't do that. It's not worth it. Hybrids get great gas mileage on their own. You don't need to push the limits. They are beautifully engineered just to do that. Well, they're supposed to save the environment too, but I guess we only focus on the gas mileage part, but that's okay. I love efficient cars, you know. And the last but not least, and this is a very interesting one. I see this all the time. So we're overinflating tires, we're putting things in front of the radiator, we're trying to hyper miles to really push our hybrid to the limit to get the most gas mileage. And I admire some people. They even get better gas mileage than what the EPA rating is. But I see this all the time. You know, you're trying to hypermile and do all these things, but then I open the trunk, especially this is, I don't want to say it's Priuses only, it's everybody, but it seems to always be a Prius. So, sorry Prius owners, but I will say this. So, the Prius has another storage area underneath the back. When you open the hatch, there's a little door you open, and then there's a storage area. It's always full of stuff. Always, brim max. I mean, I estimate at least 150 to 100 pounds of things. You're lugging this weight around. That's affecting your gas mileage more than anything else. So instead of overinflating the tires and pushing everything to the limit like that, why don't we just get rid of some of the stuff there just sitting in the car? And this is general advice for everybody. There's no need to have 10 pairs of shoes in the trunk and clothes and things and this and that. Try to keep your trunk empty. You're lugging all this weight, even if it's not a hybrid, you're lugging all this weight, wasting gas mileage. For what? Clean that trunk up. Center console, back seats. I see cars that are filled with stuff. And you know, I work day and night. You guys probably work day and night. We work very hard. In this day and age, there's no sitting around all day long. So I understand we get overwhelmed with life and we can't really keep up with cleaning things and keep taking things out of our cars, but in the name of efficiency, and especially if you buy a hybrid, try to clean it up, keep it nice and neat. Don't drag along extra weight with you. That'll get you actually more gas mileage than any of the other dangerous stuff. So this is gonna be a wrap for today's video. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope this video was helpful and informative for you. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications. If you have any comments or questions, or you don't agree with something, please leave a comment, or you're welcome to email me at thecarcarenut@gmail.com. I would love to talk to you guys. This channel's mission is to help you guys. I have some knowledge. I'd love to share it with you and the whole world, because you know what? It's all about the love. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.